Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brennan Plays. This is Total Extreme Wrestling for the All Elite Wrestling Save. We are at week 2 of August, building towards the All Out pay-per-view. Quick look at the storylines before we jump into our episode of Dynamite. Jericho and Darby still continuing their story. Christian and Samoa Joe are getting ready to sort of wrap that one up with a big match at the pay-per-view. Divinity and Thunderstorm kind of still working with that one as we get ready for a tag title match. New trio of Flying High taking on the trio of Butcher Blade and Angelico. Well, Angelico is now back from injury, so we can do more of that. We already have done one trios match there, so not sure if there's too much more to explore. We'll have to sort of figure that one out. Jade and Soraya as well. We're thinking maybe this will be extending a little bit further. We'll have to wait and see. Keith Lee and Lance Archer, we're yet to start that one, so that will be around the TNT title. Miro and Danielson, once again, a big championship match. It was really, really good at the last pay-per-view, so we want to continue that and do the rematch at All Out. So we are still building towards that one. Natural Pros and the Ass Family, pretty much not too much left here to do. Maybe one more match and that will finish it. Statlander, she's taking on Superbad. She might get a bit of help from someone like Ruby Soho and potentially Team Taz and the Best Friends, kind of kicking that one off as a trios match. The Acclaimed and Cabana Housen, still a little bit more there to do. We're going to do one more match and finish it. And the Trios Championship, well, we are now looking to build towards the Blackpool Combat Club and the Team of Death Triangle, which I think is probably the best match we can do until the Elite come back. So that's kind of where we're at right now with our storylines. And if you haven't watched the last few episodes, we've had a few good shows, including Fight for the Fallen, 85 rated. Probably did not think we were going to get anywhere near that, but two huge matches, Danielson and Miro 92 and the Blackpool Combat Club and the Undisputed Elite 88. So that was really, really good. Unfortunately, we don't have the Undisputed Elite anymore, but we still have, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, so we still got members of that group, but not the full trio. So the trios division's taken a little bit of a hit. We followed it up with another match between Undisputed Elite and Blackpool Combat Club, 92 rated in the rematch. So the rematch was even better than the original. So two big back-to-back trios matches to really get this division up and running, because I feel like this is going to be one of the toughest things to really make good is the Trios Championship. But we're going to try. We're going to give it a red-hot crack. And we also had Danielson. He defeated Kyle O'Reilly. So Kyle O'Reilly, 3 bangers in a row from him, 89 rated on an episode of Rampage, as Danielson had an open challenge for the championship. So there we are. So far, so good. Things are going pretty well for us. Obviously, we still have the suspensions in play at the moment. Punk, Omega, the Young Bucks all out for another 46 days. Malachi Black out for another 19. So still missing some of our biggest names. And of course, in real life, we don't even know if CM Punk's ever coming back. We now know the Elite are back, so hard to really say. In retrospective, the real life suspensions were about 2 months. We've given them 3 months off. So we've gone a little bit longer than what we needed to, but it's done now. We can't really change it, so we carry on. So let's continue. We've got our show this week, Dynamite. We've got AQA and Athena on the pre-show. Now, I actually read that AQA is probably retired or she's stepping away from wrestling for a while, so I don't know. We might have to release her. But nonetheless, she has a 53 rated match with Athena as Athena picks up a solid win. Also on the pre-show, Nick Comoroto and Preston had a 35 rated match. Good chemistry between these two. So not a bad little match there as Preston grabbed a win. I thought about giving Preston a win here and maybe seeing if there's anything there. Is he worth even looking at giving a small little push to? Maybe 37 from him. Not a lot of popularity at the moment. I think he's got about 20. So if we wanted to build another big guy, he might be an option. Gotta get rid of the mask though. Gotta get rid of the mask. It just looks silly. We opened up this week's edition of Dynamite with another banger. Bryan Danielson, Jay Lethal, 88 rated. So what we're really doing with Danielson is we want to have him wrestle. He's just going to wrestle everyone. He just wants to fight. He just wants to compete. He wants to put this championship on the map. He wants to restore honor to the AEW World Championship. And he's done it again, 88 rated. So another huge match. Jay Lethal is always a guy that we can put in a match and he's going to deliver. He had a 71 performance, Danielson 93. So great start to the show. Ken Anderson on commentary talking about everything that's going on with this one. And post-match, Anderson says Miro is healing quickly and he will be back soon. So he's racing against the clock to be fit and healthy for All Out. So Danielson awaits to see if Miro will be ready to go. I guess in storyline, we should probably have a backup opponent for for Danielson rather, if Miro can't make it, even though he's going to make it. So maybe we should crown have someone else kind of be a backup opponent if Miro can't be cleared. Alright, we had Death Triangle. They took on and defeated the Natural Pros in a 67 rated match. In the match, we had Austin Gunn distracting the Natural Pros, allowing Death Triangle to pick up the win, even though they were going to probably win anyways, but just to screw over the Natural Pros, obviously to advance that storyline. So, got a bit of a chance to see how good Death Triangle are. Park 87, Penta 79, Ray Phoenix 89. Yes, so pretty good. Pretty good. Natural Pros, on the other hand, maybe one of our biggest flops. I mean, honestly, I thought this would be a nice, solid, veteran trio. You know, 3 guys, nothing happening at all. Put them together, see what happens. Paul White's got a lot of popularity. Surely he can perform pretty well. I was wrong. Very wrong. This team sucks. And at least them putting over the Gun Club and the Ass Family, at least we're going to get something out of it, right? At least they'll have some sort of purpose, because at the moment, they are struggling. 67 for the match. Next up, Black Bull Combat Club confront Death Triangle, and they say they want to fight the very best trios in AEW, and right now they think the Death Triangle is the next best. So 81. So we kind of kick off this new rivalry between Death Triangle and the BCC. Should be a good match. Mercedes Martinez took on Toni Storm and defeated her thanks to an interference by Nyla Rose, 57. Martinez, 49, slightly outperforming Toni Storm, who had 47. So, of course, Divinity and Thunderstorm, they're feuding right now for the Tag Team Championships, so this advances that story. Next up, well, great promo here between Samoa Joe and Christian Cage. They have a confrontation and finally agreed to a match. So, you got Jungle Boy Luchasaurus watching Samoa Joe's back, Private Party and Lance Archer watching Christian Cage's back. 90 rated match. So it's been a pretty ongoing feud, this one, and we're finally going to lead to Christian having to deal with Samoa Joe one-on-one, and I think that's going to deliver. I really do. Samoa Joe, I know in real life, finally getting a push, TNT champion and all that, and for us, he's been a bit of a disappointment, but I feel like he and Christian might tear the house down. I just got a feeling. I really think this is going to be a good match, so fingers crossed. Lance Archer, he had a match with Luchasaurus after this confrontation, 63 rated. Basically a way to get Lance Archer a win, just to propel him up the ranks to make him, a legitimate threat to Keith Lee. And getting a win over Luchasaurus, I think that's fair enough. Lance Archer, 71. Luchasaurus, though, pretty good at 67. That's pretty good for him. Sting is backstage with Chris Jericho, and Sting says if Jericho can win tonight, he can have a rematch with Darby Allin, but Darby will pick the stipulation. So Sting, just playing favorites a little bit. Look, Jericho, you've already lost to Darby Allin before. If you win in our main event tonight, I'll give you the rematch, but I'm going to allow Darby to pick the stipulation because he beat you last time. That sort of deal. I think that's probably fair enough. Darby Allin can kind of do what he wants. Jericho, you have to agree to these terms if you want the rematch. So 92 for that one. I'm kind of thinking about maybe Sting and Jericho one-on-one. I feel like we can maybe transition out of this Darby Allin situation, do kind of like a Legends match between Sting and Jericho, maybe for Full Gear. I don't know, that's pretty far away, isn't it? But maybe even, could we rush it for All Out? Yeah, that would be rushing it, but I think I want to get Sting back in the ring. And I know he's the GM in our game, but I feel like given his age, there's not much time left. The window is it's closing quick. And he had a great feud with MJF, and he even had a one-on-one match with Christian Cage as well earlier in the series. I would like to get him another few more matches. And I know in real life he does tag matches, but I just think at the moment I don't see, he and Darby haven't really got any sort of connection, and it would be a bit weird for the GM to be teaming with someone. So yeah, I think him working with some of the top heels would be good. or even a younger heel and have Sting take a loss to someone. It worked with MJF. Sting was in the freaking blood and guts match. So it worked there. I feel like it could work again with someone else, but at the moment, maybe Jericho and Sting. We're thinking about it. The Acclaimed demand a rematch with Cabanahausen for 53. And our main event was Jericho. He took on Swerve Strickland and picked up the win. Wasn't a lot of options for Jericho to really work with. Not many baby faces were available that I wanted to have Jericho beat. And Swerve, well, he's been a bit of a sacrificial lamb for us. We haven't really given him much of a push. I will admit, I've kind of done Swerve wrong. In real life, I'm enjoying him as a heel. But in our game, he's just lost in the shuffle. Not much happening. Jericho 73, Swerve 69, 75 match. Pretty good. Submission win by Jericho. And Darby Allin, after the match, names the stipulation. It's going to be a casket match. Would you expect anything else from Darby? So, nice gimmicky match. That'll give us something a little bit different for the pay-per-view anyways. And it might help out Jericho as well. Might be able to hide some of his flaws. We must have accidentally double-clicked because we missed the super bad Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho match, which was 62. And Saraya had a vignette for 56, so my bad. We must have accidentally clicked through that one. But yeah, we weren't missing too much there. I'm thinking Statlander and Ruby Soho, that might not be a bad women's tag team if you want to throw another team together, because both of them are doing nothing. But anyways, Superbad picked up the win over them. But it gives us an 80 rated edition of Dynamite, which is pretty good. All right, on to this week's edition of AEW Dark. We've got Wheeler Yuta and Ryan Nemeth to open things up, as Wheeler Yuta is actually defeated by Nemeth. I gave Ryan Nemeth a cheating victory just because the Wingmen have never won ever, and it's not going to really hurt Wheeler anyways. So yeah, I wanted to give Nemeth a win, just throw him a bone. Wheeler Yuta 49, performed fairly okay, 48 match. Lance Archer, great promo here. He calls out Keith Lee for a title shot. TNT title shot. Christian Cage there to aid him as well. 84, really strong. Speaking of Archer, he takes down Takeshita for 70. Archer 72 and Takeshita 51. Good match, solid match. Matt Sydal and Angelico advanced their storyline with Matt Sydal scoring a win. 61 rated match. Angelico 58, Sydal 53. Now, the Butcher of Blade and Angelico is a very weird pairing. It doesn't make any sense, but Angelico's there, I guess, just to beef up that group and give him something to do. Otherwise, we should just release him. But yeah, it's an odd pairing, but at least he's there to increase the match quality a little bit, and he's done a really good job in this singles. So he still has quite a lot to offer, despite the fact that I'm never really going to use him in a high-profile situation. Jade Cargill, great promo from her, 65, as she says she's ready to take her career in a new direction. We continue the Jade and Saraya build-up. So, yeah, look, all the build is pretty much heading towards Jade and Saraya at the next big pay-per-view. Question will be, do we get the belt on Saraya? I think it's a no, but maybe down the track. The Natural Pros and the Arse Boys, 36 rated for their matchup as the Natural Pros score the win. So Billy Gunn tried to help out the Arse Boys, but failed to do so. Yeah, so the Natural Pros, they get a win. They haven't really done a lot. They haven't really had much success, so I figured let's give them a win. Not really going to affect the Arse Boys anyways. So yeah, 36 for this one, and I still think the Natural Pros is not working well at all. Really not. So not a great match. Apparently nobody cares about anyone in this match. You would have think Dustin and Frankie Kazarian would have enough popularity for people to care about, but they don't. No one cares at all. Ricky Starks and Orange Cassidy have a backstage confrontation for 70. So good storyline progression there for the Team Taz best friend story. Brody King gets a win over QT Marshall for 65. Brody King 72. He and QT had great chemistry. Solid match. QT, we're going to change his gimmick. He's got the family boss gimmick at the moment. We're going to change that to team leader. So pretty much the same thing, but not as insulting for him to be like a mafia leader. His new gimmick is rated as great. So we are trying to go through everybody in the roster, and anyone that has a bad gimmick, we're trying to change it and fix it. Well, QT is another example of that, and he gets an improvement, which is good to see. So Brody King, well, we were looking to build him since the House of Black is gone, but they are coming back. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do with him next. The Death Triangle promo about the Trios Championships, 71. Not a great promo. That's their weak point, but I figured we'll try and get them on the mic, advance the storyline. Superbad say that Statlander would be better off in Superbad, so her career would be doing a lot better if she joined their group, but Chris Statlander declines. So continuing and advancing that storyline. Main event was Death Triangle taking down 2.0, 67. So we wanted to give Death Triangle a win as a trio, get them in there versus one of our lower teams, so hopefully prop them up a little bit with 2.0, which I think they may have. It's a pretty decent match. 2.0 around the 50 mark, which is good. Death Triangle all 80 plus, so definitely carry the match. Overall, a 70 rate edition of Dark, which is much better than the usual, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now on to this week's edition of Rampage. Takeshita will take on Cutler for 56, Takeshita 55, Cutler 49. Definitely like what we're seeing from Takeshita. He has been very, very good for us. Perfect guy, I think, to have a good match with anyone. And I think over time, he'll gain more popularity and be even more valuable for us. So, he only has 17, 18 pop. So he's already putting on great performances. Cutler, on the other hand, around 30 pop. So he's got a fair bit of popularity to give to someone like Takeshita. But, we'll see. Mark Quinn took on Samoa Joe in the opening match of this week's edition of Rampage on the main show. Samoa Joe scoring the win. Joe 66, Quinn 60, advancing the Christian and Joe storyline. All things are building towards Joe and Christian one-on-one at the pay-per-view, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be a great match. Samoa Joe, in real life, to me, has really been impressing. In our game, not so much. But I still think there's some value in Joe. I think I'm going to keep exploring that. And this storyline has really worked wonders for him. Chris Jericho says Sting has an agenda towards him and is out to sort of get him, after naming that Jericho will have to face Darby Allin in a casket match. So we are kind of considering building towards Jericho and Sting one-on-one. Maybe at Grand Slam. That might be a good feature match for that card. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly decide that they are going to target the tag team division now that Bobby Fish is no longer here. So they are looking to maybe become a team and see how they fare as a duo. Now, I don't know if that's the long-term plan for both these guys. I don't really have a long-term plan at the moment. My plan originally was these guys are going to be one of the best trios we've got. Now we don't have Fish, so it's a bit of a shift. So Adam Cole, obviously, main event caliber, one of the best wrestlers we've got at the moment. He's performing at the highest level. He's one of the top 3 guys in the company in terms of match performances. So we definitely have to keep using him in a high-profile spot. Kyle O'Reilly, on the other hand, is certainly a great talent. He's performing quite well. He's a guy that could be in the TNT title or maybe the Atlantic Championship sort of mix, that upper mid-card region. Speaking of them, Cole and O'Reilly defeated Top Flight in their opportunity to kind of step into the tag division. In the end, we had a win for O'Reilly and Cole, and O'Reilly 61. Wow, that's a little bit low for O'Reilly. Adam Cole 87, and Darius and Dante 55 apiece. Now we had this match as a high spots match, so a bit of a just spots, just kind of doing high flying stuff. Maybe that's not suited to Kyle O'Reilly, that's not sort of his thing, but it was more so to help Top Flight perform a little bit better. They certainly did pretty well. 67 for the match was decent in the end. We had a Bandito hype video, so now Bandito is officially a part of AEW. I want to get him under contract, I want to start utilizing him more, and we're going to start doing some hype videos just to kind of get him prepared to be presented on the show. Proud and Powerful defeated the Acclaimed after Danhausen distracted Max Caster. So Danhausen doing a spell or something on Max Caster to distract him to allow Proud and Powerful to score the victory. Santana and Ortiz 78-79 apiece, both performing really, really well. The Acclaim was slowly getting them up the card. We're doing our job to try and get them there. They're feuding with Cabanahausen, which isn't a great thing for them, but it's something, and it's a good start nonetheless. Proud and Powerful, obviously, in real life, they've split. I don't know what we're going to do in our game, I don't know if we're going to really invest too heavily in these guys. As a solo act, I don't think either can survive. So if they're not teaming together, they're going to have to find a team with someone else, and that's not going to be easy. Main event was Keith Lee and Tomohiro Ishii. 80 rated match, TNT title on the line. Keith Lee defends it once again. Wants to be a fighting champion. Now, I was considering having Danielson defend again on Rampage, because I'm really liking the idea of Danielson just doing banger after banger on Rampage, just kind of really giving us a great match week after week, making it must see. But instead we used Keith Lee in this role, and he did a great job as well. 80 rated with Ishii, who's been a great guy just to kind of plug in a spot and just have a solid match. And two big dudes. Oh, Ishii's not that big, but Keith Lee's a massive man. Ishii certainly would be throwing some hands towards Keith, so I'm sure that would have been a decent little match. So the ninth defense for Keith Lee. Post-match, Lance Archer approaches Keith Lee and gives him a bit of a warning. So gets in his face and just kind of lets him know that he is coming for his championship. 72 for that one. Overall, 74 rated, not quite good enough. We lost popularity in 10 regions. A little concerning, but we didn't give away too much in this card. I was trying just to get through it without too much, going wayside. So I think we did okay with that, but just not quite enough to grow the company. Post-show results for this week's edition of Rampage and Dynamite. Obviously, we are doing some different changes to kind of keep up to date with what's going on in the real world. We decided that we're going to take Rush away from WWE. We're going to get him because obviously we are going to lose William Regal. Big news, of course, William Regal's going to join the WWE once again. So we've changed that, so we're going to send him back to the WWE. So Regal was actually the CEO of Ring of Honor for us, so we've had to make a change. We've appointed Christopher Daniels to be in that spot. I think that's a good role for him. We're not really going to use him anymore in the ring. We have been using him a little bit, but now that we've kind of ended SCU, it's been a few months now since we've had him wrestle, so yeah, I think that's a good spot for him. He can kind of go to Ring of Honor and run things down there for us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Rampage, good ratings again, 1.3 million, 860,000 viewers on TV. And obviously our subscriptions still doing really, really well with our new subscription service, AEW Plus, executing really well. 437,000 people watching on that app. So I think you have to be pretty happy with what it's producing there for us. So at the moment, we are week 2 of August. All out, 21 days away. Lots to do, lots to build towards. I'm starting to think, look, I think this pay-per-view is going to be really good, but there's obviously some potential, concerns. We're still missing the Elite, still missing CM Punk. We don't have the House of Black. So it's going to have to be headlined by Danielson, who's been on fire. Obviously, Christian and Joe, Jericho and Darby. The one guy we could probably be using better is definitely MJF and also FTR. So FTR, the tag team champions, don't have anything lined up for the pay-per-view, which is definitely a concern. FTR have been great for us. They're the current champions. We don't have anything for them, as well as MJF, as well as Wardlow. So we might have to try and squeeze something for them on the card. It's hard because we are obviously missing a few big names that we don't have available at the moment. So I'm not really sure what we're going to do, where we can really go. MJF obviously has been excellent, and we're kind of giving him a little bit of time off out of the ring, out of the major storyline picture, just to kind of not cool him down, but just to kind of give the fans a little bit of a break, because he has been the world champion. He has been the centerfold of the company for a long time now, and he's done really well in what he has been able to do. We already have done the Pinnacle in the House of Black. We did the big feud there. So yeah, we're in a little bit of a hole with what we could potentially do with MJF and the Pinnacle. Obviously, Blackpool Combat Club could be a great rivalry, but that, is that going to end now that Regal's gone? Yeah, so we have to kind of consider where we're going to go with it all next. MJF and Danielson would be a great matchup, a great feud. We could definitely go with that. Obviously, Death Triangle, that's another option. Christian's crew, but a lot of the top heel factions, are heels. So a lot of the factions in AEW are heels, so there's not a lot of potential teams really lining up to feud with the Pinnacle. Same with our tag team division. A lot of our best teams are heels at the moment, with a few of our top babyface teams out of the mix. So that's why we're just a little bit of a bad sort of period. We need to kind of elevate a few different teams to get them to potentially feud with FTR. So we might have to do that. We might have to just throw another team out there and kind of have FTR versus somebody, or maybe we insert them into another rivalry and make it a triple threat. I think that would be a little bit lousy or lazy as well, you know, to do that. So we'll have to wait and see, but we definitely need to get them involved somehow and ASAP. So ladies and gentlemen, lots to think about heading in towards All Out. We're going to try and play a few more weeks and catch up a little bit. We are falling behind very rapidly what's happening in the real world, so we need to catch up and get some more episodes out for you. So thank you so much for joining us and watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you all in the next one.